Check it out. It's a train wreck just waiting to happen. Yes, it's David Lee Roth. So, back again to talk about two box sets. One good and one bad. So let's start with bad. So, have you ever been such a fan of a band that even though you know they may be on a downhill slide, you just continue to stick with them anyway? Sort of like, driving by a car wreck and you just gotta check it out because you just want to know what happened. Well, this guy is leaving me with this feeling. So, this is Van Halen's box set, which is features Live at the Tokyo Dome on their last tour. And I hate to say it, it is a major disappointment. But let me go into the reasons why. So the box set includes the album's 1984 and Van Halen's self-titled debut. Everything is mastered by Chris Bellman, which is great. But now let's talk about the box itself. So the box is just that, a box. And there's nothing more. There's no booklet. There is just the records. The records come in really what I call this is a inner sleeve with just the printed artwork. I mean, this is really, really flimsy. I think it claims that everything is on 180 gram vinyl, and it might be close. I have no idea where these things were pressed. The pressings were decent. I don't think it was pressed at RTI. It has a matrix number, which I've never seen. I don't know if that's going to show up. It has a matrix number which I've never seen from a pressing plant before. It's not hand inscribed. It's put in there by a machine. And there are a couple plants that I've seen that do that, like Pallas in Germany does it, and also GZ Vinyl out of the Czech Republic does that as well. But so the vinyl's good. Here's the live album, which is just nothing special. All the labels are the same, but it's a 3-disc for the live set. But let me talk about why this was particularly disappointing, other than the fact that the box set really doesn't have a book or anything especially unique other than the albums themselves. Even the jackets are for the live album are pretty plain as Jane. This is about as good as it gets, with some lyrics, again, really flimsy. Now what was really disappointing to me was this is not, wasn't recorded that well. I like live recordings that are more intimate, where you have mics on the different members of the band, and plus you got the audience ambience. This just sounds like it was recorded from 60 rows up with 1 or 2 mics, and you don't have too much of a stereo effect at all. The Tokyo Dome, I can tell, is not really a good place to see a show because you've got a lot of sound reflection too coming from the atmosphere, and so there's sometimes where certain players are suppressed, so the mix is not that good. It just does not sound as good as let me see if I can find my example here. This guy here. This is definitely a better live representation of the band during the Sammy Hagar years. But this is really well recorded by Andy Johns. But this, I haven't looked to see who recorded it. I just said mastered by Chris Bellman. That's it. Oh, mixed by Bob Clearmountain. Well, I'm not a fan of Bob Clearmountain. In fact, I would avoid this thing like the plague, or, you know, if you're a fan of the band like me and you feel kind of compelled to stick with the band, then go with it digitally. I mean, this thing was just incredibly disappointing to me. And the original albums, I mean, Rhino did the release, also mastered by Chris Bellman, I think 4 or 5 years back, and those albums were pressed at RTI, and they just sound fantastic. In fact, I don't think these, at least the self-titled in 1984, were truly remastered for this box set. But the other aspect that's really kind of disappointing is David Lee Roth himself. So Dave is like that crazy uncle that, you know, never changes, and you know he'll never really grow up. Well, maybe it's just me. I'm at a point where I'm like, you know, that was cool back in the 80s. Now I'm just, seriously, or you're 60 some years old and you're still doing the same shtick, really? So just really kind of sad. I'm showing Women and Children first, and this is the Rhino release of this album, which again was just fantastic pressing done by RTI. This is the album that really, where the bands started to feud, and this came out in 1980, and that poster that I showed you at the beginning was kind of one of the pinch points of, or actually the starting point of the breakup of the band, and I'm just surprised that they lasted another 3 years. But yeah, Women and Children first, this is just a really good album. Yeah, when I'm in the mood for a little metal, yeah, I always turn on the Van Halen because it's one of my first loves, of course. But really, if you're kind of a casual fan, yeah, you can definitely avoid that. I mean, Eddie's really good. Eddie kind of went through a phase where, you know, he's kind of off his rocker, but I think he's sobered up. His skills are there. He's playing on the whole album is really tight. They go through all the standards, and plus they play three or four songs off the previous album, which, you know, wasn't like super great, but it was cool to see them back together again. But now let's talk about the good box set. So this is the White Stripes Under the Amazon Lights, and it was recorded in Manaus, Brazil. Just a fabulous box set. Really well done. Cheaper than the Van Halen box set, for sure. What I like about the box sets too is you get a nice 7-inch, and they're going along the white and red theme. Of course, this is Ain't No Sweeter Than Rita Blues on the B side, and Let You Down on the A side. And it's a double album set. Inside the box set you got one jacket of the theater that they played at, or an old style photo of the theater that they played at. The albums pressed at United, of course, because it's in Nashville where Jack is at, but these weren't too bad. I had a couple spots of non-fill, but nice red and black marbling. The other album was just the same. Then it came with a nice art print. And we got a nice little monkey bin. And let's see, you got a DVD of the entire show. And you got some postcards. And I just got to say that this guy was well recorded. I mean, the miking was done up with the band. Good stereo separation. You got good ambiance. You don't have room reflections coming down into the mic and just totally destroying the audio like Van Halen. But yeah, if you can swing it, pick this guy up. This is definitely worth the investment. If you're into Ladder White Stripes, I think they had like almost an album. This was done in 2000. Let me check this one more time. Get the date for you. Yeah, 2005. Almost close to the time where they broke up, but this was really good. So those two are what I've really been spending this week. So not a whole lot, but hopefully you enjoyed it, and leave some comments. Let me know your thoughts about bands that you just continue to stay with, even though you know they're on a downhill slide, maybe. And have a great weekend.